Hi, my name is Manny, Master Certified Professor Tech. These are the top 5 tools for HVAC. The first tool we're talking about is gauges. The way you use the gauges in a condensing unit is basically you want to go ahead and hook it up every time you're doing an install to make sure that you have proper refrigerant charge whenever you're diagnosing the unit. It's just to tell you if you have the correct pressures, if you're missing refrigerant, if you need to, take some refrigerant out. That's just the way you use gauges. The most beneficial thing about gauges, it'll tell you what's going on internally with the unit itself. That way you don't have to make any guesses. It'll tell you accurately if your unit is working efficiently or if there's something internally going on with it. In this era, you got different types of gauges. You got analog and you got digital. It's depending on your preference. You could use the digital ones if you want to do less math with whenever you're charging the unit. It'll do the math for you. Or if you're old school, you can go ahead and use the analog ones. So every time you want to go ahead and if you're touching different equipment with different types of refrigerant, you want to use a different set of gauges so you don't cross-contaminate refrigerants and systems. When shopping for a gauge, it's just your own personal preference. If you want to go ahead and go with the digital just because you like reading off of your phone or an actual digital manifold, or if you want to go ahead and do your own math and go the old school way with the analog gauges, they're a bit cheaper in price. One tip that I can give the HVAC service techs is you got to make sure that when you're checking different types of refrigerant, you're using that set of gauges for that specific refrigerant. You don't want to cross-contaminate. The second tool we're going to be talking about is going to be the vacuum pump. Vacuum pumps are used to remove gas and any impurities inside the system whenever you're going to go ahead and do a fresh install or you're going to change refrigerants in the system. Benefits of a vacuum pump: every time that you pull a vacuum, it prevents any contaminants from staying behind inside the system. When shopping for a vacuum pump, you might want to go ahead and look into reviews from actual certified technicians just to see which vacuum pump is going to be more efficient and it's going to last the longest. My recommendation for newly techs is make sure that you stay on top of the maintenance. Change your oil every time that it's due. Make sure that your pump is working up to its standards for using it in a system. The next tool we're going to be talking about is the scale. The way you use the scale in a system is you go ahead and weigh your refrigerant before you go ahead and charge it into a system. It can help you add the correct amount of refrigerant to a specific system that you're working with. Or it can also help you to charge the right amount of refrigerant for the customer. It'll tell you accurately how much refrigerant you're adding into the system as far as for pricing as well. We do have both analog and we do have the digital version. As you can see, this is a digital one. The older ones are analog and they're okay to use as well. You want to look at reviews to make sure that they stay accurate for a longer period of time, because you need to recalibrate them every now and then just make sure that they last long. Whenever you're taking care of a scale, you want to make sure that it doesn't stay with the other tools. You want to have it with you in the cabin so that it doesn't get banged around. The fourth tool we're going to be talking about is going to be torches. The way you use torches in cold side HVAC equipment is they're used to mainly brace copper pieces together, making sure that you got a proper seal within the system. Whenever you're using torches in the field, they're mainly used for bracing copper fittings together in the refrigeration side. By having torches in the HVAC industry, we're able to go ahead and brace. And if you have the acetylene oxygen option, you're able to cut with them as well. The two types of torches that we have in the field are just your single acetylene tank, and we have the combination oxygen and acetylene. This is a lot lighter, or just the acetylene, just to carry around. The reason why you would want to go ahead and have the oxygen and acetylene option is for more precise bracing and more confined spaces. You want to mainly look for, depending on what you're going to be doing, if you want something precise and quicker, you want to go with the oxygen acetylene combo. Or if it's more open in the field, then you just want to go ahead and go with your acetylene. Whenever you're using torches, you want to go ahead and make sure that you have your safety gear, which is goggles, gloves. Another safety tip is every time that you put them away, you got to make sure that you fully close them. You don't want any of this stuff escaping into your service van. The fifth tool we're going to be talking about is your 11N1 screwdriver. The way you use 11N1s is it has different applications for it. You get your Phillips head, you get torque heads. If you go ahead and remove your tips, you can have nut drivers, just depending on what you want to go ahead and remove. I'd say the greatest benefit for an 11N1 is you can carry one single screwdriver instead of carrying 11 different types. Reduces the weight in your tool bag. There's a variety of different types of 11N1 screwdrivers. You get your electrician version, you got your refrigeration version, which has a Schrader valve remover tip, or there's a ratcheting version as well. It's just depending on what application you're planning to use it for. When shopping for an 11N1, I do recommend to go ahead and do some research and just verify that the 11N1 you're choosing for is for your right field, depending on if it's cold side, hot side, or if you're doing electrical. Whenever you're using 11N1, I'd say never forget it. It's something that you want to carry in your pocket at all times.